All right, so you want to dive deep into the minds of these online forum posters, right? And you've brought us, well, quite the case study, the Mind's Eye One character.
Yeah, it's a pretty fascinating one.
We've got a whole stack of their posts here going way back. And let me tell you, this is one digital enigma we've got on our hands.
The thing that jumps out right away is just how much the Mind's Eye One is, well, asterisk everywhere, asterisk.
Oh, yeah.
Tech debates, relationship advice. I even saw him arguing about the best pizza toppings. This isn't someone just dipping their toes in the water. They're like doing the backstroke through every single corner of these IGN boards.
It's like they're the unofficial mayor of this whole digital town or something. And we're seeing them pop up in threads as far back as like 2007. Which, for anyone keeping track, that's practically ancient history in internet years, right?
Absolutely, yeah. This kind of engagement, it really makes you think there's something deeper there, like a real need to be a part of this community. Almost like they crave that constant connection.
So we're already seeing that tension right from the start, like this desire to be heard, to leave their mark on this digital world.
Yeah, definitely.
And speaking of leaving a mark, let's talk tech, because the Mind's Eye One definitely has some opinions on that.
Oh, yeah. They're not shy about their gadgets, that's for sure.
They've got complaints. They've got a wish list.
And what a wish list, huh?
So they're complaining about their internet speed, especially when they're trying to download, get this, multiple asterisk games at once.
Hold on. How many games are we talking about here?
I mean, who even starts downloading 10 games simultaneously?
Someone who's maybe a little impatient.
Maybe. But here's where it gets interesting. They're also doing all this research into top-of-the-line, like Wi-Fi asterisk, 7 asterisk routers.
Wow.
Even questioning if it's overkill for what they currently have.
Well, that's a bit of a contradiction, isn't it? I mean, on one hand, you're frustrated with your current tech, but then on the other, you're already looking at the next big thing, even though you're not even close to maxing out what you've got.
Right. It's like this constant cycle of just wanting the newest, shiniest tech, maybe even more for the bragging rights on the forum than for, actually using asterisk it.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Like, it's more about the status within the community than the actual practical use.
Exactly.
And, we actually see this pattern pop up again with a delayed Amazon delivery.
Oh, no. The dreaded delayed delivery. Tell me more.
So the Mind's Eye One, they ordered a new Motherboard A B650i ITX board, to be precise.
Okay.
Along with a bunch of other high-end PC parts. They even mentioned a phase change sheet for cooling.
Whoa, okay. Now that's some serious gear.
Right, like a next-level geekery going on here.
Well, what happened?
The motherboard, it got delayed.
Oh.
And the Mind's Eye One is not asterisk happy about it. Says it's throwing a wrench into their whole weekend build plan.
So it's not just about the tech itself. It's about showcasing their knowledge to the rest of the community.
I think so. Like, the delay is kind of messing with their ability to do that, yeah.
It's like their whole online persona is wrapped up in this stuff.
Right, and it makes you wonder, is the Mind's Eye One more interested in actually building this supercomputer, or is it more about impressing their online buddies?
That's a good question. And you know what? That actually leads us perfectly into the next layer of this whole thing, because we're about to get personal.
Right.
It's kind of like they're oversharing before oversharing was even like a asterisk thing, asterisk lad, talking about being in debt and all, which, let's be real, that's pretty personal stuff to just put out there for the whole world to see.
Yeah, and then in another thread, they mentioned their mother getting, and I quote, the best possible news at work after some uncertainty. But we never actually find out what the good news asterisk is, asterisk. It's like they're dropping these little breadcrumbs of information, keeping everyone guessing, keeping them hooked.
So it's like crafting this whole narrative, right? Their life with all the ups and downs. And the forum is like their stage.
Exactly. And it all circles back to that idea of performing for this online audience. Even revealing vulnerabilities can be a way to control the narrative, get a certain reaction.
Instead of just validation for their tech knowledge, it's like they're looking for that same validation for their whole life story or something.
It's a definite possibility. And this brings us to a whole other aspect of this online persona they've got going on.
Oh, yeah. Hit me with it.
Their relationship with social media asterisk, outside asterisk of the IGN boards, specifically Facebook.
Interesting. Because you'd think for someone so active on the forums, they'd be all over Facebook too, right?
You'd think so, wouldn't you? But they actually seem to have a bit of a love-hate thing going on with it. Yeah, they mention using it mainly for Messenger, to stay in touch with some old friends. But when it comes to their newsfeed, they actually called it, and I quote, A goddamn disaster.
That's putting it mildly.
Right.
But you know what's interesting? This little comment comes asterisk after asterisk. They describe coming across some, shall we say, interesting asterisk conspiracy theories on Facebook about Hurricane Helene.
Oh, no. What kind of theories are we talking about here?
Okay, so buckle up. Apparently, it was orchestrated by a Democrat weather control system.
Oh, boy.
So they're encountering this stuff, right. But it's almost like they're trying to distance themselves from it at the same time. Like putting themselves on this higher intellectual ground or something.
It's that classic, I'm not like asterisk other asterisk users mentality, isn't it?
Exactly. And this pattern, it kind of keeps popping up, like with their views on workplace culture, for example.
What do you mean?
So they're skeptical about the effectiveness of, those annual sexual harassment training things. They even joke about being singled out for it.
Really?
Yeah, they said something like, it's really not difficult to just act normal around people and not be a creep. As if to say, asterisks don't need this training. I'm one of the good ones.
It's fascinating how often they seem to position themselves in opposition to, like, the perceived absurdity of everything else going on online, whether it's Facebook drama or these workplace policies.
It's like they're constantly trying to prove something.
Right.
So is this all, like, a deliberate attempt to shape their online image? Or is it just, like, genuinely who they are?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It really is.
And it leads us to another area where the mind's eye one's need for maybe validation, or at least a certain image, seems to come into play.
Ooh, okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
Their taste in movies.
Movies, huh? All right, let's get into it.
So they recently watched No Country for Old Men.
Okay, sure, classic.
And, get this, loved it. They even went on the forums asking for, like, more recommendations.
And what'd the good people of the Vesti come back with?
Oh, the usual suspects. Fargo, Barton Fink, There Will Be Blood, that kind of stuff.
The heavy hitters.
Exactly. So you can see where this is going, right? Trying to fit in with a certain crowd. The I only watch critically acclaimed cinema type.
Yeah, I get it. But it's not just about watching these movies, right? They're, like, actively talking about them, too.
Yeah. They even got into a whole debate about the ending of No Country for Old Men.
Oh, I bet that was a lively one.
Wait, and the Mind's Eye one, they were defending it passionately, like really going to bat for this ending.
Which, come on, you know what happens on the internet when you have a strong opinion, right?
Yeah, it's like a beacon for differing viewpoints.
To put it mildly. But, I mean, isn't that what this all boils down to? This need for validation?
Yeah.
It's not enough to just, like, the right things. Gotta have the right opinions about them, too.
It's like they're saying, hey, look at me, I get it, even if you don't.
Classic. But, to really wrap our heads around this, we got to talk about the Vesti themselves, the IGN boards community. Because these folks, they're a whole other breed.
Oh, absolutely. They've got their own language, their inside jokes.
It's like its own little ecosystem over there.
Right. And the Mind's Eye one, they're both a part of it, asterisk and asterisk a target.
How so?
People love to poke fun at them.
Oh, I'm sure.
Their spending habits, their crazy detailed posts, even their attempts to be all mysterious and private online.
So it's like a weird form of, I don't know, internet affection or something like, we're only teasing because we care.
Maybe, but it does kind of highlight this whole push and pull thing that the Mind's Eye one has going on, you know, wanting attention, but then also trying to control it.
Give me an example.
So there was this whole thread, right, dedicated to tracking the Mind's Eye one's, wait for it, asterisk walking, asterisk progress.
You're kidding.
Nope. Called it the Tony walking thread.
Amazing.
And of course, the Mind's Eye one, they got all secretive about it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They claimed they were still walking, but weren't going to share it online anymore, to avoid the backseat driving, as they put it.
But of course, the Vesti saw right through that.
Oh, yeah. They called him out immediately, accused him of, secretly loving the attention, even when they said they didn't want it.
Which, come on, let's be real. That's the internet in a nutshell, right?
Yeah.
You say you want privacy, everyone assumes you're just trying to be all mysterious and interesting.
Exactly.
But it's almost like they can't help themselves,
Yeah.
Like they're addicted to the engagement.
It's that classic performative aspect of being online. Even when they're trying to fade into the background, they still find a way to make it a whole thing.
And it's funny because there's this one thread where the Mind's Eye one asterisk announces like their big plan to be more private. Minimize personal details, they said. Become more of an enigma.
Become more of an enigma, huh?
The irony is almost too perfect, especially for someone who, let's be honest, leaves a trail of digital breadcrumbs wherever they go online.
You're not wrong. And predictably, the Vesti, they weren't buying it for a second.
Oh, I bet.
One user even wrote, and I quote, page 1 of 4, Jaya on page 4.
Because we've all been there, right? Seen that a million times. It's like the digital equivalent of saying, that's it, I'm never eating sugar again while standing in line at a bakery.
Perfect analogy.
And sure enough, the Mind's Eye one, they cracked pretty quickly. When someone suggested that no one asterisk wanted them to fail in this whole privacy thing, they fired back with a, really?
Oh, no, they didn't.
Oh, they did. Even called out a specific user, challenging them to say it to their face.
Classic, the Mind's Eye one. Can't resist a little online tussle.
It's like the asterisk need asterisk, that back and forth, even if it goes against everything they claim to want. This whole dance between craving connection, but then also needing to control the narrative, it's kind of fascinating when you think about it.
It is. It's like we're looking at a microcosm of, well, all of us online, isn't it?
Right. Are we ever truly ourselves in these digital spaces? Or are we all just putting on a show for an audience, even if that audience is a bunch of strangers with usernames we'll never actually meet in real life? That makes you think, doesn't it?
It really does. The Mind's Eye one, with all their contradictions and quirks, they remind us that the online world, it's a hall of mirrors, reflecting back at us all these different versions of ourselves. Sometimes it's hard to tell where the performance ends and the real person begins. And maybe, just maybe, that's the point.
Deep stuff. And for all of you listening out there, next time you stumble across your own The Mind's Eye one in the wilds of the internet, maybe don't just scroll on by. Take a second. Think about what might be driving their little digital performance. You might be surprised by what you discover. And on that note, this has been another deep dive. Until next time, stay curious out there.